This is Rob the Witch from Necronomicon.
This is Danny Marino from The Agonist.
This is Morgan Weller from Lestravi.
This is Nackrol from Seeger She Cat.
Hey, this is Sam from Anagnoresis, and you're listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Welcome, Great Metal Debate listeners, to the podcast where we bring you some of the most talented, compelling, and innovative musicians in metal. Today I'm excited to be joined by Dale Sauve with the band Endemise. Dale, welcome into the Great Metal Debate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure, man. Endemise is not a new band, but I know it's new to some folks. For people who aren't familiar with Endemise, Dale, can you provide our listeners with a brief background on the band, maybe with where you're from and how the band got started?
Yeah, we're a band from Canada. We're from the capital of Canada in Ottawa here. And we started the band about 10 years ago. We're going on 11 years now. Just me and my brother, who are the two members that are still the only ones that are original members in the band. So he's the drummer, and we just kind of decided we wanted to start a band and make some metal, and we kind of just been taking it from there ever since.
We've spoken to a number of musicians from Montreal area, but I'm not sure we've interviewed anyone from Ottawa. What's that scene like?
It's pretty good here. It's not quite as big as Montreal, but we are very close to Montreal, so we're about an hour and a half, 2 hours max away. So a lot of our shows do get played over there, and a lot of them come down here and play in Ottawa, but our scene in general here is pretty good. It's been strong, and it's been going strong for a while. We have a lot of great musicians coming out of here, and I mean, a lot of friends that I have personally that have, I mean, one of my good buddies just joined Suffocation as the drummer.
Wow.
Another buddy, it's a good buddy, he's the guitarist of Annihilator now. So there's a lot of, kind of branching out from just Ottawa going on here, and a lot of talented musicians here for sure that are going and doing bigger things.
You mentioned your brother earlier, and we've spoken to a number of bands that have relatives playing together. I talked about a year ago with the guys in Crimson Shadows who are brothers.
Yeah.
What's that like to play with your brother in a band? Is that helpful in keeping you guys tight, or are there times when you wish you had a little more distance?
No, it's been great. I mean, when we started, we were still living at home. So when we started writing, we were just always there writing. And then we moved out, got an apartment together, and we had some of the other band members live with us. We kind of had a band house for a couple of years there, which, made for some really interesting writing. We never really needed space from each other. We've always been a tight family in the band. So having an actual family member in the band is kind of the same. I mean, I see everybody in the band like a brother as well, especially some of the people that have been there for a while. So yeah, it's definitely it can get challenging at times, but for the most part, it's pretty interesting.
I've had a chance to listen to your music, including the most recent album, which we'll talk about in a moment. But for those who haven't, stylistically, how would you describe the music of Endemise?
I would describe our sound, I guess, kind of a mixture between black metal, a mixture between death metal, and even some elements of melodic metal in there. We kind of just do our own thing. I mean, we're not the most original, but we also aren't the most unoriginal. So I think that what everybody that comes together in our band, we all have different tastes in music, and we all have different favorite bands and different things we listen to. So when we bring that all together, I feel that it makes the sound that we create, which I guess, yeah, like I said, the easiest you can describe it is blackened death metal would be the label I would put on it if I had to.
And do you listen to a lot of black and death metal bands? Tell me a little bit about your personal influences as a musician, what you bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of Septic Flesh. That's where I kind of get my love for adding orchestrations and adding full scores to the music. But I also listen to other bands. I mean, I listen to some of the American black metal bands like Abigail Williams and Lord Mantis, and then I listen to a lot of Behemoth and a lot of the European stuff as well. But I also listen to a lot of things. I listen to a lot of metalcore bands like Lamb of God and Killswitch Engage. So there's a bit of a mix in all that for what I enjoy. But my inspiration for the music that I write, it's got to be a mixture of Dissection, Septic Flesh, Watain, that kind of stuff.
I can certainly hear that in your music, but as you said, there's a lot of other elements, including a lot of melody in there if you listen for it.
Yeah, I mean, and we get a lot of that from just the different styles of music we listen to as well, and we kind of take what we hear in a different kind of song and, mix it in with our style. So that's where a lot of that melodic stuff comes from.
Let's talk about the most recent album, Anathema, that was released at the end of October of this year. How long has that album been in the works?
That album has been in the works since late 2014. We had actually finished tracking that album in October 2015. So we had finished tracking a year before we released it. We ran into a lot of productional problems, and we had a couple of personal things happen to some of the band members, and it kind of took longer than we wanted to, but we're glad that it's finally finished and it's out there, and we can move on to writing some new stuff, because that was, like I said, was a lot of the stuff material had been written in 2014, so it's a little older for us now.
Does it seem dated when you listen to it, or maybe I should ask you this, are you able to listen to the album once it's now down on vinyl or CD or streaming, however you listen to it? Do you listen to your own music?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, me personally, I can't speak for the other members in the band, but I myself write music that I enjoy listening to, and I do enjoy listening to it. I don't think that it's dated. Some of the songs on this album, this record, were even written in 2008, and we had been saving them and used them on this record. So I guess I'm proud of all the songs that I write, and I don't really get sick of them. I get sick of playing them live, but I do enjoy it.
I've read a few reviews in anticipation of this interview. What has been your take on the initial response to the album?
I think it's been pretty good from what I've seen. People seem to be enjoying it, and there's definitely a lot of positive feedback. There's some neutral and there's some negative. I think that comes with any art form or any form of music. But no, I think the band, we're pretty happy with how it's been received so far. We would like to get it, kind of out there a little bit more. I think there's an audience out there that hasn't been able to find us yet, which is what we're working on doing right now.
Did you do an album release show or something like that in the works?
Yeah, we had an album release show here in Ottawa. It was November 1st back, so we had a little bit of a rehearsal party then, and we had it was a good show. It was a good turnout, and we didn't have the chance to do any small tours or anything yet, which we were talking about doing, is maybe getting into some of the cities around us like Montreal and Toronto, and we would definitely like to get out and play some more cities. We've done tours in the past, but just with how work is and people finishing up school now, it's not as simple as just getting up and leaving to tour, but that's something we'd also like to do. I'm getting outside of the question here, but
No, that's fine. So you guys have been around for a while. Where have you toured previously, and where do you kind of have your sights set now? Are you looking to maybe recover some old places where people would be familiar with your name, or do you have your sights on conquering new territory?
So we are talking about doing some more stuff, kind of where we've been. We have some fans there that haven't seen us in 4 or 5 years now. And but we do want to branch out and play some shows, further in places that we haven't already yet. Working on some of that too.
Can you give us any insight into maybe not specific cities or venues, but where you're thinking about going?
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to hit up the far east of Canada. We'd also like to hit maybe eventually the western side over in BC, and of course, we'd love to go into the States and play some shows down there if we could swing it, but it's not as simple playing across the border when you're on the budget that we're on, kind of. But that is something we would like to do in the future as well. it's kind of head on south and play a couple shows down there as well.
Well, we'd love to see you down this side of the border. The western side of Canada itself has a very vibrant metal community, some great bands out of that area.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as this new album, Anathema, and any older material, how can people find out more about Endemise and how to purchase that music?
You can go to our we have a website that's just www.endemise.com. We've got links to everything there. We've got an online store there. We've got songs up there. You could also look us up on Facebook. That's just facebook.com/Endemise. Or we also have a Bandcamp page. But mostly we send people to our website because we kind of link everything, all of our social media, into that website. And it kind of just all branches out as that one simple place to go. So there we have older albums on there that can be downloaded or purchased, and we have, our news, any recent news that we have coming will be posted there first. So it's definitely a one-stop shop for anything that you'd want to find out about us.
And people should look at that news to find out where you may be performing live in the coming year. I'm sure that you'll have all the merch, music, and T-shirts, etc. at any live shows.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we have a lot of merch for sale, and we bring it to every show we play. And
well, I can't encourage our listeners enough to check out Endemise, and in particular this new album, Anathema. I really think fans of a variety of metal styles will find something to like here. I know I did. Dale, I can't thank you enough for joining us today, and I truly hope someday in the future I'm fortunate enough to see you guys perform live.
Yeah, I hope so too. We would love that. We would love to come down and play some shows down for you guys there.